Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to take a moment and picture something. Picture the version of yourself that wakes up every day full of excuses. The one who settles for less than they deserve, who procrastinates, who says, maybe tomorrow. Now let me ask you, is that the person you truly want to be? Every single one of us has two versions of ourselves inside, a weak one and a strong one. The weak version clings to comfort, avoids challenges, and finds every reason to stay the same. It whispers you've done enough or you can't do it. But deep inside you know better. You know there's a stronger version of you fighting to emerge, one who's ready to seize opportunities, embrace challenges, and create a life of purpose. But here's the truth. The weak version won't just step aside. It needs to be defeated. It needs to be silenced. You've got to wake up every morning and make a decision. Today I will not be the person who holds me back. Because every excuse, every fear, and every moment of doubt is a barrier you build between yourself and the life you deserve. Success isn't about luck or talent. It's about discipline, choices, and the willingness to face your weaker self and say not today. It's about showing up even when it's hard, even when it's uncomfortable. The weak version will tempt you with instant gratification, but the strong version knows that the real rewards come from consistency, effort, and resilience. Now, let me ask you another question. What would your life look like if the strong version of you was in charge every day? What goals would you achieve? What relationships would you build? How much more could you give to the world? The answer lies in your hands. Every time you push past the resistance, every time you choose growth over comfort, you're weakening that lesser version of yourself. Bit by bit, you're building a stronger, more capable, more fulfilled you. But it's not easy, and it's not supposed to be. Growth is meant to challenge you. It's meant to demand more from you. But isn't that the point? To wake up every day knowing you've outgrown who you were yesterday. So, don't wait for motivation to find you. Don't wait for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is now. Decide to kill that weak version of yourself today, tomorrow, and every day after. Because the life you want, the life you deserve, is on the other side of that battle. The first step to transforming your life is recognizing the weak version of yourself. This isn't about self-criticism or dwelling on your flaws. It's about awareness. Too often we go through life without fully understanding the patterns, habits, and mindsets that keep us stuck. The weak version of you isn't some abstract idea, it's the part of you that avoids challenges, settles for mediocrity, and resists change. It's the voice that whispers, you can't. It's too hard, or maybe later. But until you bring this part of yourself into the light and confront it, you'll remain at its mercy, unable to grow into the person you're meant to be. The weak version of yourself thrives in comfort. It tells you that it's okay to stay where you are, because change is uncomfortable and risky. It loves routine, predictability, and safety. And while there's nothing inherently wrong with comfort, living in it too long breeds stagnation. You stop taking risks, you stop pushing your limits, and eventually, you stop dreaming. The weak version of yourself convinces you that where you are is good enough, even if deep down you know it isn't. To recognize the weak version of yourself, you need to start paying attention to your excuses. What are the reasons you give for not pursuing your goals? Maybe you tell yourself you don't have enough time, resources, or skills. Maybe you blame external circumstances, thinking, if only things were different, I'd take action. But these are just stories. They're narratives created by the weak version of you to keep you from stepping out of your comfort zone. The first step to defeating this version is realizing that these excuses, while they may feel real, are not the truth. They're a mask for fear, resistance, and self-doubt. Another way to identify the weak version of yourself is to observe how you respond to challenges. When faced with difficulty, do you lean in, or do you retreat? The weak version of you will look for the easiest way out. It will convince you that quitting is the best option, or that someone else is better suited to handle the challenge. It might even justify inaction by telling you the challenge isn't worth it in the first place. But every time you give in to this voice, you reinforce its power over you. Recognizing this pattern is crucial if you want to break free from it. The weak version of yourself also shows up in how you use your time. Think about the activities that consume your day. Are you spending hours scrolling through social media, binge-watching shows, or indulging in other distractions? These behaviors are often driven by the weak version of you. It seeks out instant gratification because it's easier than doing the hard work required for growth. But instant gratification is a trap. It provides temporary comfort at the expense of long-term fulfillment. To recognize the weak version of yourself, you need to take an honest look at how you're spending your time And ask yourself whether those choices align with the person you want to become. Self-talk is another area where the weak version of yourself often reveals itself. Pay attention to the thoughts running through your mind. Are they empowering, or are they filled with doubt and negativity? The weak version of you thrives on self-doubt. It tells you that you're not good enough, smart enough, or capable enough to achieve your goals. It magnifies your flaws and minimizes your strengths. But here's the thing, those thoughts are not facts. They're just the weak version of you trying to maintain control. By recognizing these patterns of negative self-talk, you can begin to challenge and reframe them. Another clue to recognizing the weak version of yourself lies in your relationships. Who do you spend the most time with? Are they people who uplift, challenge, and inspire you, or are they people who enable your weaknesses? The weak version of yourself often gravitates toward those who validate its excuses and fears. It seeks out comfort in the company of others who are also unwilling to grow. But if you want to rise above this version of yourself, you need to surround yourself with people who push you to be better, even when it's uncomfortable. The weak version of you also fears failure. It's the part of you that avoids taking risks, because it doesn't want to face the possibility of falling short. But failure is not the enemy, it's a necessary part of growth. The weak version of you will try to convince you otherwise, telling you that failure is a sign of inadequacy. It will encourage you to play small, to avoid stepping outside your comfort zone, and to stick with what's safe and familiar. Recognizing this fear for what it is, a tool of the weak version of yourself, allows you to stop letting it dictate your choices. One of the most insidious ways the weak version of yourself operates is by convincing you that you have all the time in the world. It tells you that tomorrow is just as good as today, that you can start later, and that there's no need to rush. But tomorrow is not guaranteed, and every day you wait is a day you lose. The weak version of you thrives on procrastination, because it knows that the longer you delay, the less likely you are to take action. By recognizing this tendency, you can begin to break free from it and start living with a sense of urgency. Recognizing the weak version of yourself also requires self-compassion. This isn't about beating yourself up or feeling ashamed of where you are. It's about taking an honest inventory of your habits, thoughts, and behaviors without judgment. Everyone has a weak version of themselves. It's part of being human. The goal is not to eliminate it entirely, but to stop letting it control your life. By approaching this process with kindness and curiosity, you create the space to grow and change. Finally, recognizing the weak version of yourself is an ongoing process. It's not something you do once and forget about. The weak version of you will continue to show up in different ways as you grow and face new challenges. But each time you recognize it, you gain more power over it. You become better equipped to choose growth over comfort, courage over fear, and action over inaction. And with each choice, you move closer to becoming the strongest, most capable version of yourself. Every day we face a decision to give in to excuses and complacency, or to rise above and push forward toward our goals. The choice to overcome is not a one-time event, but a continuous process, one that requires deliberate action and focus. Success doesn't come from sporadic bursts of effort, or inspiration is built through the small, consistent decisions you make every single day. The daily decision to overcome is what separates those who grow and succeed from those who stay stuck where they are. The first step in choosing to overcome is understanding that obstacles are inevitable. Life is unpredictable, and challenges will arise no matter how well you plan. The weak version of yourself might see these obstacles as reasons to quit, or as proof that your goal is unattainable. It whispers, "Why bother? This is too hard." But the stronger version of you knows that obstacles are not roadblocks, they are stepping stones. They are opportunities to learn, grow, and prove to yourself that you're capable of more than you thought. When you wake up each day, you must make a conscious decision to view challenges as fuel for growth, rather than excuses to give up. Overcoming daily also requires a shift in how you view effort. Too often, we expect success to come easily, and when it doesn't, we question whether we're on the right path. But the truth is, anything worth achieving requires effort. There will be days when you don't feel like showing up, when the tasks ahead seem overwhelming, or when the progress feels too slow. On those days, the weak version of you will try to convince you to take it easy, to skip the hard work just this once. But the strong version of you understands that every small action matters. Each time you push yourself to keep going, even when it's difficult, you're building discipline and momentum that will carry you forward. One of the biggest challenges in choosing to overcome daily is staying focused on what truly matters. In a world filled with distractions, it's easy to lose sight of your goals. Social media, endless entertainment, and the constant demands of everyday life can pull you away from the work that will move you closer to your dreams. The weak version of yourself thrives on distraction because it keeps you from confronting the discomfort of growth. But the strong version of you knows that focus is key. Each day you must decide to prioritize your goals over temporary distractions. This means setting clear intentions for what you want to accomplish, and being disciplined enough to follow through, even when it's tempting to procrastinate. Another aspect of overcoming daily is embracing discomfort. Growth is not comfortable, it's challenging, and often requires you to step into the unknown. The weak version of you will resist this, clinging to what feels safe and familiar. It will try to convince you that staying in your comfort zone is the best option. But the strong version of you understands that discomfort is a sign that you're moving in the right direction. Each day you have to make the choice to embrace the discomfort that comes with trying something new, taking risks, or pushing yourself harder than before. Over time, what once felt uncomfortable will become your new normal, and you'll realize just how much you're capable of achieving. Choosing to overcome daily also means letting go of perfectionism. The weak version of you might hold you back by convincing you that if you can't do something perfectly, it's not worth doing at all. This mindset leads to paralysis and inaction, keeping you stuck in the same place. The strong version of you knows that progress is more important than perfection. Each day, you must decide to take imperfect action, knowing that it's better to move forward and make mistakes than to remain stagnant. Over time, these small, imperfect steps will add up to significant progress and growth. Another key component of overcoming daily is maintaining a sense of gratitude and perspective. It's easy to get caught up in what's not going well, or to focus on how far you still have to go. The weak version of you might use this as an excuse to give up, thinking, "What's the point? I'll never get there." But the strong version of you chooses to focus on what you've already achieved and the opportunities that lie ahead. Each day, take a moment to reflect on your progress and to appreciate the journey. Gratitude shifts your mindset, helping you to see challenges as opportunities and to stay motivated, even when the road ahead seems long. Accountability is another tool that can help you choose to overcome daily. When you hold yourself accountable for your actions and decisions, you're less likely to give in to excuses or distractions. The weak version of you might try to avoid accountability, preferring to keep your goals vague or to blame external circumstances for your lack of progress. But the strong version of you understands that accountability is empowering. Each day, take responsibility for your choices and their outcomes. Whether it's through journaling, tracking your progress, or sharing your goals with a trusted friend or mentor, find a way to hold yourself accountable and stay committed to your path. Another important aspect of overcoming daily is celebrating your wins, no matter how small they may seem. The weak version of you might downplay your accomplishments, focusing only on what you haven't achieved yet. This mindset can be discouraging and make it harder to stay motivated. The strong version of you recognizes that every step forward is worth celebrating. Each day, take time to acknowledge your progress and to appreciate the effort you've put in. Celebrating your wins reinforces the habit of overcoming and keeps you motivated to continue pushing forward. Lastly, choosing to overcome daily is about believing in your potential. The weak version of you might try to convince you that you're not capable of achieving your goals, that you're not smart enough, talented enough, or strong enough. It will use every failure or setback as evidence to support these doubts. But the strong version of you knows that your potential is limitless. Each day you must decide to believe in yourself, even when the evidence isn't there yet. Trust that with consistent effort and determination you will grow into the person who can achieve your dreams. Every day is an opportunity to choose growth over comfort, action over inaction, and belief over doubt. It's not about being perfect or never struggling. It's about showing up, making the effort, and committing to the process. By making the decision to overcome daily, you're not just working toward your goals, you're becoming the person who deserves to achieve them. Growth is a journey, not a destination. It doesn't come from moments of occasional effort or isolated bursts of motivation. Rather, it's a daily commitment to practice, to consistency, and to the discipline of doing the work required to improve. The weak version of yourself will try to convince you that growth should be easy, that success should come with minimal effort or natural talent. But the truth is, true success comes from the ability to stay disciplined in the face of adversity, and to continue striving toward improvement even when it feels difficult, monotonous, or uncertain. Discipline isn't something that comes naturally, it's a habit. And like any habit, it's built one day at a time. Discipline is about making the choice to do what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel in the moment. It's about setting clear goals and making small, consistent efforts toward them, even on days when you don't feel like it. It's not about waiting for motivation to strike, but about creating the momentum yourself by taking action. The weak version of yourself will often fall into the trap of waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for everything to be in place, waiting for motivation, or waiting for things to feel easier. But the strong version of you knows that action is the catalyst that creates motivation. Discipline is what keeps you moving forward, even when external circumstances or your own feelings try to pull you back. To embrace discipline, you must first recognize its power. Discipline is not about being rigid or inflexible. Rather, it's about being committed to your goals, no matter what challenges arise. It's about making the decision to show up, even when the work feels hard, even when you'd rather take the easy route, and even when it seems like the results aren't coming fast enough. The weak version of you will be impatient and will want quick results, often jumping from one project to the next, without fully committing to any of them. The strong version of you knows that true growth is gradual. It happens over time, through consistent effort and persistence. One of the most challenging aspects of building discipline is overcoming the voice in your head that says, just skip it today, or it's not that important right now. This voice is the weak version of you trying to undermine your progress. It knows that if you let it dictate your actions, you'll remain a cycle of inaction. But when you push past this voice, when you choose discipline over the fleeting desire for comfort, you begin to make significant progress. The small acts of discipline that you practice every day compound over time and create lasting change. It's in those moments of choosing to do the work, even when you don't feel like it, that you build the foundation for your success. The process of building discipline also involves understanding the importance of structure. The weak version of yourself thrives in chaos, waiting for inspiration or external conditions to change before taking action. But the strong version of you knows that success is built on structure and routine. This doesn't mean living a life of rigidity or eliminating spontaneity, but rather creating systems that allow you to stay on track and make progress even when life gets busy or unpredictable. Having clear plans, setting specific goals, and creating daily rituals that support those goals is what enables you to keep moving forward, even when external circumstances are not ideal. Discipline isn't just about self-control, it's about setting yourself up for success by creating an environment where making the right choices becomes easier. Part of embracing discipline is also learning how to resist distractions. The world is full of distractions, whether it's social media, television, or even people in your life who may not support your goals. The weak version of you is easily lured into distractions because they offer instant gratification, a temporary escape from the work required for growth. But the strong version of you understands that distractions take you off course and delay your progress. The ability to stay focused on the task at hand, to resist the urge to procrastinate or indulge in time-wasting activities, is a key element of discipline. It's about learning to say no to the things that don't align with your long-term vision, even if they seem appealing in the moment. Discipline also requires the ability to push through setbacks and failures. The weak version of you may interpret failure as a reason to quit, to abandon your goals, or to think that you're not cut out for success. But the strong version of you sees failure as part of the process, as a necessary stepping stone on the path to growth. When you encounter setbacks, discipline is what keeps you going. It's what helps you get back up after you've fallen, to reevaluate your approach, and to try again with a new perspective. Growth doesn't come from avoiding failure. It comes from learning how to persist through it and use it as fuel for future success. Building discipline also means understanding that consistency is key. The weak version of yourself will try to convince you that you only need to put in a little effort here and there, and that will be enough. But the strong version of you knows that consistency is the foundation of progress. It's the small, daily actions that add up over time and lead to significant results. It's about showing up, even when it feels like you're not making progress, even when the results seem slow. Discipline is about trusting the process and knowing that every small effort counts, even if it doesn't feel like it in the moment. One powerful way to build discipline is by setting clear, actionable goals. Without clear goals, it's easy to lose motivation, to get distracted, or to drift aimlessly. The weak version of yourself will tell you that it's enough to have vague intentions. But the strong version of you knows that clear goals are what drive action. These goals should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Smart goals. When you have a clear destination in mind, discipline becomes easier, because you can break your goal into smaller, manageable steps and take consistent action toward it each day. Without this structure, the path to success becomes unclear, and discipline becomes difficult to maintain. Along with setting clear goals, discipline requires the ability to track your progress. This isn't just about measuring your success, but about understanding where you've been, where you're going, and where adjustments need to be made. The weak version of you might avoid tracking progress because it's uncomfortable to confront where you may have fallen short. But the strong version of you knows that tracking your progress is essential to staying disciplined. By regularly reviewing your progress, you can celebrate your wins, learn from your mistakes, and make the necessary adjustments to stay on course. Lastly, discipline requires self-compassion. The weak version of you will beat yourself up over mistakes, missed opportunities, or days when you don't meet your expectations. But the strong version of you understands that growth is a process, not a linear path. Discipline doesn't mean being perfect, it means being committed to learning and improving, no matter the setbacks. It's about understanding that mistakes are part of the journey and giving yourself grace when things don't go as planned. With this mindset, discipline becomes a tool for growth, rather than a burden, and you're able to stay motivated and resilient, even when the path gets tough. Discipline is not a trait you're born with, but a skill you can develop. It's about making the choice day in and day out to prioritize your long-term vision over short-term desires, to keep moving forward, even when it feels difficult, and to stay committed to the process of growth. The more you practice discipline, the easier it becomes, and the stronger you become in the face of challenges. Each day, with each small choice, you are building the life and success you want. Visualizing your stronger self is one of the most powerful tools you can use to create the life you want. It is the ability to see, in vivid detail, the person you aspire to become and the life you hope to build. Visualization is not just about wishing or daydreaming. It's about forming a mental image that drives your actions and aligns your decisions with your goals. The weak version of yourself is often clouded with doubts, fears, and limiting beliefs, which can create a fog that prevents you from seeing your potential clearly. The stronger version of yourself, however, can harness the power of visualization to cut through that fog and develop a clear, compelling vision that serves as a guidepost for everything you do. At the core of this process is the idea that your mind doesn't distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. When you visualize yourself achieving your goals or becoming the person you want to be, your mind starts to align with that image. It begins to develop new neural pathways, making the goal feel more achievable and creating a sense of motivation and purpose. The weak version of you may have difficulty believing that visualization works, perhaps dismissing it as wishful thinking or a waste of time. But the strong version of you understands that visualization is a practice, one that builds clarity and fosters confidence. By regularly visualizing your future success, you are conditioning your mind and body to believe that this version of you is not only possible but inevitable. The key to effective visualization is specificity. It's not enough to simply imagine yourself as successful or happy. The stronger version of yourself knows that the more detailed and specific your vision, the more real and actionable it becomes. Instead of thinking, "I want to be successful," you might visualize yourself in your ideal career, clearly seeing the workspace, the people around you, and the specific tasks you're performing. Instead of imagining vague success, you're creating a clear picture of what that success looks like, feels like, and even smells and sounds like. The more sensory details you include in your visualization, the more it becomes ingrained in your subconscious mind, driving you toward it with each passing day. This detailed mental imagery helps you create a blueprint for success that your brain can work toward, turning abstract desires into concrete goals. Visualization also allows you to overcome fears and doubts. The weak version of yourself often harbors limiting beliefs, thinking you are not smart enough, capable enough, or deserving enough to achieve your dreams. These doubts create barriers in your mind, preventing you from taking risks or pushing beyond your comfort zone. However, by visualizing yourself successfully navigating challenges and achieving your goals, you are rewriting those limiting beliefs. The stronger version of you knows that visualization is an act of belief. It's the act of seeing yourself as the person you want to become before you fully manifest that person in reality. As you repeatedly visualize yourself overcoming obstacles, succeeding in your endeavors, and embodying your best self, you begin to change the narrative in your mind. The more vividly you see it, the more your belief in your own ability grows, and the weaker those doubts and fears become. Another benefit of visualization is that it helps you clarify your goals and make them feel tangible. The weak version of yourself is often unsure about what it truly wants, letting fears or distractions take the lead. You might be caught up in the day-to-day hustle, feeling overwhelmed by a long to-do list, but unsure about what you are truly working toward. When you take the time to visualize your stronger self, you begin to refine your goals and make them more concrete. Visualization acts as a mental rehearsal where you can see the steps you need to take, the obstacles you might encounter, and the rewards you'll experience once you achieve your objectives. This process helps you identify specific, actionable steps to reach your goals, making them less daunting and more attainable. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by the larger picture, you break your vision down into smaller, manageable tasks that you can accomplish every day. One of the most powerful aspects of visualization is its ability to help you tap into a sense of purpose and motivation. When you can see the life you want to create and clearly picture yourself living that life, it fuels your determination to keep going, even when the road gets tough. The weak version of you may get discouraged easily or want to quit when things don't go as planned. The stronger version of you, however, can tap into the emotional energy of your vision and use it to stay focused and driven. When you visualize your goals, you feel the emotions associated with achieving them, whether it's the satisfaction of accomplishing something important, the joy of being where you want to be, or the excitement of fulfilling your purpose. These emotions fuel your actions, turning every effort into a step closer to that vision. Motivation doesn't come from waiting for it to appear, it comes from the feeling of urgency and desire that visualization creates. Visualization also helps you make decisions more easily. When you're faced with choices, it can sometimes feel overwhelming to determine the right path, especially when there are multiple directions to take. But when you've already visualized your stronger self and the path to achieving your goals, the decision-making process becomes clearer. The stronger version of you can align your choices with your long-term vision, helping you stay focused on the bigger picture. You start asking yourself, will this decision bring me closer to my goal? Or does this action reflect the person I am becoming? The weak version of you is often swayed by short-term distractions, tempting you to make choices that may feel good in the moment but don't contribute to your overall growth. Visualization cuts through that temptation by reminding you of your long-term goals and helping you stay true to the path that will ultimately lead to success. Visualization is also deeply connected to the idea of self-identity. The weak version of you often defines yourself by your past, by the mistakes you've made, the failures you've experienced, or the limitations you believe you have. These past experiences can create a sense of self-doubt, preventing you from seeing your future potential. The strong version of you, however, is not limited by the past but is guided by the vision of the person you are becoming. Through visualization, you can break free from old patterns of thinking and embrace a new identity, one that is aligned with your future success. By visualizing yourself as the person you want to be, you begin to take on the qualities of that person, shifting your mindset, attitude, and behavior to match the vision you hold for yourself. Over time, this shift in identity leads to the actualization of your goals, because you start to act, think, and make decisions in alignment with the person you visualized. Lastly, visualization can serve as a powerful tool to overcome the setbacks and obstacles you'll inevitably face along your journey. The weak version of you may see challenges as insurmountable, convincing you that failure is final or that obstacles are too great to overcome. The stronger version of you knows that challenges are simply part of the process, and by visualizing yourself navigating these obstacles successfully, you can prepare yourself mentally for them. This mental rehearsal helps you anticipate challenges and create strategies to overcome them. You visualize yourself staying calm, resilient, and focused, no matter what comes your way. This builds mental strength, fortifying you with the belief that you can overcome anything that stands between you and your goals. Visualization is a practice that requires time, repetition, and a willingness to believe in your potential. It's not just about daydreaming, it's about mentally rehearsing your success and creating a powerful mental image that fuels your actions. When you consistently visualize your stronger self, you're training your mind to align with that version of you, and you're setting yourself up for success. The stronger version of you knows that visualization is an essential tool in creating the life you want. And by using it consistently, you unlock your ability to turn that vision into reality. Taking responsibility for your actions is one of the most powerful ways to change your life. It is a fundamental shift from a mindset of excuses and blame to one of personal accountability. The weak version of yourself will try to shift responsibility onto others or external circumstances when things go wrong. It will convince you that your failures are the result of someone else's actions, the economy, bad luck, or even a lack of resources. It allows you to feel justified in doing nothing, believing that the outcome of your life is beyond your control. The stronger version of yourself, however, understands that true power comes from taking ownership of your decisions, behaviors, and ultimately your life. By embracing responsibility, you stop giving away your power and start recognizing that you hold the key to your future. Personal responsibility is the belief that you are in control of your actions, and that every decision you make has an impact on your life. This means recognizing that no one else is responsible for your happiness, success, or failures, only you. When you take responsibility, you stop blaming others for the difficulties in your life, and instead, focus on how you can act, improve, and create positive change. This is not to say that external factors don't influence your life, they certainly do. But the stronger version of you understands that while you can't control everything that happens to you, you can control how you respond. Your power lies in your choices, and taking full responsibility for your actions enables you to break free from the cycle of excuses and inaction. The weak version of you will often avoid taking responsibility, because it's easier to blame someone or something else. It can be tempting to point fingers at circumstances, your upbringing, or even the people around you, especially when things don't go according to plan. When you fall short of your goals, the weak version of yourself may tell you that it's because of bad timing, lack of opportunity, or a lack of luck. This attitude keeps you trapped in a victim mentality, where you are at the mercy of the world around you. The stronger version of you, on the other hand, will embrace the idea that every choice you make contributes to your outcomes. When you take responsibility for your actions, you take control of your future and unlock the potential for transformation. Taking responsibility is also a key component of personal growth. It forces you to confront your weaknesses, acknowledge areas where you've fallen short, and make changes where necessary. The weak version of you might resist this confrontation because it's uncomfortable to admit your mistakes, failings, or shortcomings. But the stronger version of you knows that growth comes from facing your flaws, learning from them, and using those lessons to improve. It's about understanding that mistakes are not permanent. They are opportunities to learn and evolve. The act of taking responsibility for your actions is an acknowledgement that you have the power to change, to grow, and to ultimately become better. It is a shift from a mindset of stagnation to one of progress. One of the hardest parts of responsibility is letting go of the habit of making excuses. The weak version of you will always have a reason why something can't be done, why you couldn't meet a deadline, or why you didn't achieve a particular goal. Excuses are a way of deflecting responsibility and preserving your comfort zone. It's easy to say, I didn't have time, I wasn't given the right resources, or it's not my fault. These excuses give you temporary relief, but they also keep you stuck. The stronger version of you, however, knows that excuses are just barriers to progress. The more you make excuses, the less control you have over your life. By eliminating excuses, you create space for action. When you take responsibility, you stop justifying inaction and start taking the necessary steps to make things happen. It may require discomfort, sacrifice, and facing difficult truths, but the payoff is worth it. When you take responsibility for your actions, you also gain clarity about your goals and the path you need to take. Without responsibility, you can easily become distracted or lose sight of your objectives. The weak version of yourself may waver between decisions, procrastinate, or jump from one goal to the next without ever fully committing. Taking responsibility forces you to clarify what you truly want and commit to achieving it, even when obstacles arise. It's about understanding that no one is coming to solve your problems or make your dreams a reality. You are the one who must take consistent action to create the life you desire. Responsibility is the foundation upon which you build your success. It keeps you focused on the things that matter and helps you stay on track when you feel like giving up. One of the most significant aspects of taking responsibility is understanding that your actions, whether small or large, create a ripple effect in your life. The weak version of you may believe that certain actions won't have an impact, thinking that it's just one small choice or decision. But the strong version of you knows that every action you take, every decision you make, ripples outward and affects the course of your life. Small, seemingly insignificant actions compounded over time lead to big results. Whether it's waking up early to work on your goals, making healthier choices, or being disciplined about your finances, every responsible decision adds up. The stronger version of yourself embraces this principle and understands that taking full responsibility for your actions gives you the power to shape your life intentionally. Taking responsibility also means learning to forgive yourself. The weak version of you might hold on to guilt, regret, or shame from past mistakes, letting them define your present and future. You might feel as though your past actions are unchangeable, or that you are forever bound by your previous mistakes. But the stronger version of you understands that taking responsibility is not about dwelling in the past. It's about recognizing where you went wrong, learning from those experiences, and moving forward with a renewed sense of purpose. Taking responsibility involves accepting that you are not perfect, but that you are willing to grow and make amends where necessary. When you forgive yourself for past mistakes, you release the weight of those burdens and give yourself the freedom to move forward with confidence. Moreover, responsibility also extends to your relationships with others. The weak version of you may blame external people for the way things are going, accusing others of holding you back or hindering your success. It's easy to point to a lack of support from family or friends, or to criticize a boss or colleague for not providing opportunities. However, the stronger version of you knows that taking responsibility in your relationships means being accountable for your own role in those relationships. It's about taking ownership of your actions, being honest, and showing up in a way that serves your own growth and the growth of others. When you take responsibility in relationships, You stop playing the victim and become an active participant in creating the dynamics you want. Whether it's being a better communicator, being more supportive, or offering help, taking responsibility transforms the way you interact with others. At the core of taking responsibility is the understanding that life doesn't happen to you, it happens because of you. Every choice you make, every action you take, shapes your life's trajectory. The weak version of you will blame circumstances, people, or even fate for the way things are going, believing that you are powerless. But the strong version of you knows that you are always in control of your response and your actions. By accepting responsibility for everything in your life, you begin to take charge of your future. You stop waiting for things to change and start making the changes necessary to create the life you desire. The path to success is not about avoiding responsibility, it's about embracing it fully and using it as the driving force to build a life of purpose, achievement, and fulfillment. Taking responsibility requires courage, honesty, and self-awareness. It's about being willing to face the hard truths and make the necessary changes. The stronger version of you sees responsibility as a path to freedom from excuses, from the past, and from the limitations that once held you back. By taking full ownership of your actions, you empower yourself to create the life you want and to become the person you're meant to be. Taking responsibility is the key to unlocking your potential. It empowers you to make intentional choices, embrace growth, and transform your life. By owning your actions and decisions, you break free from excuses and gain control over your future. True strength lies in accepting accountability, learning from mistakes, and continuously striving toward your goals. Responsibility is not a burden but a powerful tool that shapes your success and helps you become the person you are meant to be.